Hello YouTube. So you'll notice I already have all these poured because I just had a microphone malfunction and I totally restart the video. But to redo the thing I just recorded before the microphone floated away from my head, so I wanted to do a video on Bas-Armagnacs. And a couple of years ago, I would have just called this a video on Armagnac because I would have asked myself, well, what else is out there in Armagnac that isn't Bas-Armagnac? So to sort of review some stuff I went over, I think, in my introduction video, which I will link down below. There are 3 regions in Armagnac producing brandy. So by far the most famous is the Bas-Armagnac, and by far the most prominent on the US market. Again, 10 years ago, it was pretty much all you were going to find. But I recently did another little video on Armagnacs where I was introduced to this guy, which kind of rocked my world. So this is the Darren Sun 2009 vintage. I absolutely love this, and it is not from Bas-Armagnac. I'm not sure if you can see that. It is actually from the Ténérez region, which is to the east of Bas-Armagnac. Less producers, there's still a lot of producers, but it's much more known as a wine region now and a horseback riding region than as a brandy producing region. So Bas-Armagnac, in a lot of ways, more traditional as a brandy producing region because this, okay, so I talked before when I talked about wine, how when you're making wine, you want the grapes to struggle a little bit. You don't want them to have too easy a time, otherwise they lose acidity and you get, 18% Zinfandel like they make in Cali, and nobody wants that. I mean, I'm sure a couple of people want that, but leave them aside. A lot of traditional brandy regions are kind of the other way around. It's just like you're getting grapes that are just, if you let them grow and try to make wine, you're just going to get something that with the sugar levels are too low, you don't get enough alcohol, and you get way too much acidity. But that's precisely what you want when you're trying to make brandy. You want the acidity very high for the aromatics, and you want the alcohol pretty darn low. So I thought I'm going to do a series on a bunch of Ténérez Armagnacs. In a little bit, before we get there, I wanted to sort of run through the classics, or not necessarily, what the sort of standard, known quantities region, namely Bas-Armagnac, can do. So we're going to go through a whole lineup. Before the microphone malfunction, I poured each of them individually. I will not do that again because it would just be too much booze. But all right, let's talk about these guys. So I've got a Darroze. I'm sorry, I'm going the wrong way. Tariquet, Domaine Tariquet. Bas-Armagnac. This is their 8-year-old. I got a little offering from Lionel Osmin, which is available from Prestige Liquors, just west of Chicago. I talked about this in another video. This is what all the crazies in the Aficionados Discord server are absolutely nuts about right now. This is the Grosperrin 1996 Aficionados pick, Bas-Armagnac. And we got ourselves a Darroze, one of the independent bottlers. Well, so's Osman. But Darroze, arguably the most famous independent bottler, or Negotiant, if you like, in Bas-Armagnac. This is a Domaine de Paguy, whatever, from 2005, and it is 13 years old. So I ordered these in order of increasing price. This just happened to be the most expensive, even though it's one of the youngest. All right, so let's run through these. Let's start with the Tariquet here. This used to be available on the US market. It no longer is, and I hope it comes back. Tariquet, it's Domaine, not Chateau, so I think they're sourcing their grapes. 8 years old, Bas-Armagnac. What's interesting about this, among other things, is that it is 100% Folle Blanche. So a little review of the grapes. Folle Blanche is the old school grape in Armagnac, but also cognac as well. This was what most Southwest French brandy was made out of before phylloxera killed all the vines in France, and cognac replanted almost completely with Ugni Blanc. A lot of Ugni Blanc went down in Armagnac as well, but also Bacco, which is a hybrid grape with Folle Blanche as one of the parents. But also Folle Blanche showed up as not uncommon there. More common than it is what was in Armagnac until Cognac until very recently. And this one is bottled at a natural cask strength of 50.5% ABV, natural color as well. How great is that? This is also not expensive. In Europe, you should be able to get this for, you know, the 40, 45 bucks or the equivalent, depending on what the exchange rate is. So if this is good, it's a great little value, and some ambitious importer should start bringing it in. Okay. Extremely fresh is the first thing I would say about this Tariquet. They also make a 15 and a 12, and I'm going to give you a little hint. I'm going to buy them at some point. Oh, yes, I am. Light, fruity, floral. There's an herbaceous citrus note, almost a bergamot orange note in this. Herbs, thyme in particular, pressed flowers. Some pencil shavings, weirdly enough. And then you're getting behind all that kind of herbaceous floral nature in the citrus, like just gobs of like prunes, raisins, sultanas, really. White pepper, figs, tea, like Ceylon tea. Something, it's not lemon, it's more citron. It's like the ancestor of a modern lemon. A little lighter on the aggression than lemon is. Something rusty in there as well. A little bit of like old rusted car from the 50s, that kind of thing. And it's kind of spicy. It's got this cinnamony, clove, nutmeggy, just nice spice cake kind of components. Some cardamom in there. On the palate, ooh. So, big, but not just big because of the proof. This is just a big spirit. Quite serious. Extremely good, actually. It's bouncing off the oak and the sort of freshness from the spirit extremely well. This is Folle Blanche, and it tends to be very herbaceous and floral. And I am totally okay with that in this case. Although it's still very oak dominant. Like this is, I doubt if any of this was refill cask. I think this was all fresh French oak. Oak, sultana, figs, prunes, black pepper, and then like a smack of overstewed tea. And along with the black pepper on the back end, sort of tearing my mouth out in a way that I really like, actually. What kind of, just, you know, overstewed Irish breakfast tea. Let's go with that. But then, like, cutting through along the sides, you have those sort of floral elements, the bergamot orange, the citron. Oh, that's nice. The sort of, yeah, like a floral perfumey kind of thing. Some rosemary, some oregano in there. That metallic rusty note, which again, but nice. Some chai spices, you know, real chai spices like not the stuff you get at Starbucks, and a little bit like burned nutshells, like nutshell ash. Oh baby, yeah, this is good. This is real good. I'm gonna move on a second, but actually I'm gonna give this a squirt of water. But let me speechify a little bit. I'm not gonna score this yet. It's gonna get a pretty serious score. Maybe another half squirt, because this is a big boy. I'm sure some people out there are kind of wondering to themselves when Armagnac, or at least Bas-Armagnac, is going to kind of break in the U.S. Well, I mean, you can use rum as a test case, right? Rum is starting to get going. And what happened was really foursquare. What rum needed was basically something, some big woody monster bottled at high proof with natural color, no sweetener or anything, you know, without excessive filtering. I think this is pretty unfiltered. You know, importantly, bottled at a good, reasonable price range. You know, for Foursquare was, at least a couple of years ago, was, you know, you could get it in the 60s. If someone, and this feels like, you know, kind of like that. You drop this in the U.S. market, and you can, and if you sell it for 50, 60 bucks, and God help us, 40. If you can get this in at 40, like, Armagnac will start to take off, because, I mean, the bourbon clubs already know about the expensive vintage stuff, right? The stuff where they can get a whole bunch of their friends together and everyone pitches in 120 bucks and they all get a vintage Armagnac. They kind of know about that. Where it's not moving yet is with the average consumer who doesn't want to spend $120 on something they've never tried before. Like, this is a gateway. You bring this into the U.S. and it will absolutely sell. So someone out there, please do it. All right, I'm going to shut up about this little bottle right now. Keep it in mind, though. Watch this thing. Let's move on to the Lionel Osmin. Okay, so Lionel Osmin, Negotiant. They sell Armagnac, but they also sell a bunch of different things. This one is a little bit tricksy because it just says Armagnac on the label, but if you look at the cork, it does say Bas-Armagnac. So they've, you know, question answered. I was curious because I thought, you know, when I bought this was an Bas-Armagnac, but as I was prepping for this, I was like, where the hell on this does it say Bas-Armagnac? And I didn't, you know, it only says on the cork for some reason. Anyways, this is kind of cool because, well, first of all, it's in 1995 and it's about 70 bucks. So, you know, if age per dollar is a factor for you, like, this is a serious bargain already. Bottle 2019, 23 years old, and bottled at 47.9% alcohol, so a little bit of a step down from the last one. And it is also, you will notice it says Bacco on it. Now that is important because Bacco is kind of one of the, I would say, the spiritual grape of Armagnac. It's not the only grape they use, but it's kind of the one that they've arouses the most passions. It's a hybrid grape, meaning it's you know, a cross between a standard European wine grape and also another totally different species of grape. Came in after phylloxera. They tried to kill it during, I guess, the Bush years, and it didn't succeed. Happily, it is still there and happily producing brandy. I think this is 100% Bacco, as opposed to the full Blanche of the last one. On the nose, there's lots of high notes on this. Yeah, this is like a you know, a Italian tenor. You know, this is hitting them high notes. Exotic woods, first off, like blueberries too, like blueberry eau de vie, really. Wildflowers. How do I explain this? The French oak flavors are not actually coming through that prominently, but the way the general effect of this is that this has a lot of oak on it. I don't know if that makes sense. So it's not coming through. It just feels like you know, the stillness in the air before a storm comes. That's kind of what the oak is doing. It's not so much coming out and throwing, you know, prunes at my face, as like I can just feel that it's there, kind of in the background. So, you know, a little bit of pepper, golden raisins, dates, some tea, some rooibos tea actually, not black tea this time. A little sawdust, a little cinnamon. And almost a little like IHOP pancake syrup mixture, like you took the strawberry and the blueberry together and you kind of mix them up and that kind of thing. It's nice. It's a nice nose. It's not as fresh as the Tariquet. Is it Tariquet? I don't know. Whatever. I can read French. Don't ask me to speak French. It's a nice nose. Very exotic, woody, very high toned. On the palate, more drying. Not as overtly woody as the Tariquet, actually. You can tell it's there, though. Again, it's like the calm before a storm. You can just feel the water in the air, so to speak, the oak in the air. And honestly, actually a little bit simpler than the last one. Exotic woods again. Some Virginia tobacco, like a mixture of stoved red and black Virginia tobacco. Kind of a gummy worms note, weirdly enough. Berry eau de vie again, kind of mixed berries this time. Some flowers, like metallic flowers, like, yeah, I'm going to go with that. Flowers made of metal. Deal with it. Lots of overstewed black tea, but again, less overtly tannic than the last one. And yeah, you're getting a little rancier. You're getting a little old furniture. It's nice. It's not, rocking my world. I think I do like the Tariquet better. It just feels like, okay, there's a low bass note, and then there's some stuff way up in the tenor range, in the high range, but there's not a whole lot going on in the middle. Does that make sense? And I want that middle there. That's kind of what I'm lacking with this, but pretty dang good. And if 95 is a special year for some reason, kind of a little bit of a bargain. All right, moving on to the most important bottle ever bottled in the history of bottling, the Grosperrin Bas-Armagnac, 1996, Fine Drams / Aficionados pick. This is what is this? Cask 5 or S/Sit 2 of 348 liters, and there were 497 bottles released at a strength of 53.1% ABV. So this, the Angels didn't get a whole lot of the alcohol here. Happily. Okay, the ABV is actually coming through on the nose. It's kind of nippy, but it's also just kind of like hot. It smells like hot lava. Honestly, this actually smells a lot like a really old Mortlock, I don't know, like a 25, 30-year-old Mortlock. Which is great. I like old Mortlocks. So overripe black cherry, definitely. The stove tobacco note is back and doubly so. And a little bit of sulfur, a little bit of struck match in there, a little sulfury sherried Space Cider. Matches, and then the sultanas and the prunes and the dried cherry thing again, the crushed, kind of a like a smashed rock smell, like a little bit of a minerally smell, a little tarry, lots of tea notes. This smells like the oak just smashed the hell out of this. English breakfast tea everywhere. Chocolate fudge, like just old-fashioned chocolate fudge. Very serious, also black pepper, obviously, tons of freshly ground black pepper. Coffee grinds as well. And a little bit of like a cigar wrap, a little Maduro cigar, like a little sweetie, really super fermented cigar wrap. It smells big. And again, if you are a fan of big ass old Space Cider sherried whiskeys, you will be very pleased with this nose. Well, that shut me up. Big boy. Very big brandy. Kind of following on the nose. Dark chocolate, like, you know, Lindt 99%, coffee grinds and like brewed coffee at the same time, all over. Black cherry, tar, you know, sherry cask, the prunes, the raisin thing, the black pepper thing. Oh. Very, 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 very tannic. The wood tannins are just all over the place on this. You have to be able to deal with that. You have to be into that. I know a lot of folks are though. And like the old furniture rancio thing and the sulfur thing is still there. The struck match thing is very prominent on this. If that is not your deal, if you know even just a touch of that kind of ruins things for you, I would stay away from this. Everyone else, come on in. Like all kinds of tobaccos, nutshells, some camphor. There's no arguments against this. I mean, you can point out that sulfury note is in there, but man, unless that really wrecks it for you, this is a home run. I'm gonna give this a 90. Oh wait, I haven't even given it the second score. I will eventually give this a 90 as a preview. I've written it down there. It says 90. So unless it misbehaves when I add water, it's getting a 90. Did I water the Osman? I don't think I did. It's been a long day. This is such a bastard. It gets 2 squirts of water. All right, and moving on to the Darroze. So Darroze is interesting. It's a Negotiant. It's effectively an independent bottler. But I think they're one of the ones, so they're not, you know, just buying casks and then immediately, you know, dumping them and bottling them right away. They like to basically store casks on premises. They will like distill and cask, you know, smaller producer stuff themselves and basically hold on to them until selling time. So very, very big producer, kind of expensive on the U.S. market, and I'm not entirely sure why. But this example is from Domaine de Paguy, whatever. 45% Bacco, 45 Ugni Blanc, 10% Folle Blanche. 2005, 13 years old, bottled October 2018. Yep, and that's bottled at 49.7% ABV. This was the most expensive bottle on the table here, because I mean Darroze is just expensive. But they have a fresher nature. They tend not to be as aggressively woody as some of the other ranges do, which is fun. I like that. I like that attitude. Okay, this is also very different. You're kind of getting like what is that? Like an oak-soaked celery thing. Like if you just took oak juice and like then just stewed some celery in it for a little while, that kind of thing, or even smoked your celery with oak. That's kind of what I'm getting on the nose of this. So lots of fresh oak. We're getting some fresh French oak, prunes. You know, some floral characteristics, some violets, raisins, black pepper, and then the green notes are right there, and they're lots of fun. And kind of a lovely grape salad note. Tea, cinnamon, yeah, but we're pretty close to the distillate. There's a little topsoil in there too. Earl Grey tea, cherry, some a little minerality there. It's a little sort of crushed rocks again. Wet crushed rocks. It's nice. A little spice cake on this one too. On the palate. A little disappointing, actually. At least compared to the nose. There's some oaky notes. There's a nice metallic, kind of perfumey thing. Cinnamon. Yeah, kind of mixed spices with cinnamon being prominent, but also some cardamom and clove in there. A little tea as well. And then the black pepper and lots of wood tannins. Some coffee notes again, like a lighter coffee this time, like a Costa Rican coffee or something. Some dried orange, sandstone. Yeah, that metal flower thing, maybe. But that's kind of about it. It's nice. It's balanced. This is very drinkable. But for the price, I mean, the retail of this, I did not pay retail for this, is over $100. And, you know, for $100 for some, you know, in a category that is kind of, you know, a little bit underbought still, I kind of expect a little bit more than this. So mark me a hair bit disappointed by the Darroze so far. Let's give it a squirt of water and go back through these though, and see if it improves. Okay, so just to speechify a little bit, I have found in the past that Armagnacs are very likely to react unfavorably to water. And again, when I add water, it's not just to proof things down for, you know, comfortable drinking purposes. Adding water the same way as letting something air out for a little while, you know, shows you the truth about it a little bit. You know, if it just collapses with the slightest squirt, that says something. If some off notes start to come out, that says something. If it really starts to improve with a squirt of water, although that doesn't happen as often as you would hope, that also says something. It tells you, you know, it says something about the quality of the distillate. You know, how it reacts to just being, you know, kicked in the face a little bit. All right, let's go back through these. So going to the Tariquet 8-year-old one more time, and I'm going to give it a score. Oh, that's nice. The oak comes out a bit more, but so does the fruitiness and the freshness. More peppery, but also more floral, more kind of integrated, actually. There's a little bit of the bergamot, the orange thing is definitely prominent there. And the nutshell thing is actually, there wasn't a nutshell thing on here before, was there? Now it's starting to come out. Not burned as much. It's not as ashy. It doesn't, the ashy character isn't coming out on this as much as with some of the others. There's also like a really nice cafe latte note. No, really more like a flat white note. If you ever had one of those real flat whites, which are like this tiny little thing, and it's just like a 4-ounce burst of yum. That's kind of what I'm getting here. Oh, it's nice. On the palate. If you could bring this into the U.S. market for around circa $50, like this murders so many bourbons and you know, associated other options in that price range. Oh, that's good. I was thinking like an 86 on this, but I think I may bump it up. God, it's just full and fresh and perfect, but also has this good, long, dry finish. It's woody. It's a woody floral latte with like pepper and like woods tannins and some like sticks and campfire notes in there. Oh, this is good. Someone bring this back to the U.S. like right now, right now. Take my money, Jesus. Yeah, I do I like this enough to have it be an 87? I think I do, actually. Yeah, I'm not I'm not going to Scrooge this. I'm not going to take away from this guy. This is an 87 out of 100 point Armagnac. This is a little bit of a bargain. If you can buy it overseas, buy it. If you're an importer, bring it in. If you see it in the US anywhere for a reasonable price, buy it. This is terrific. This is just, this is not, you know, traditional big woody aggressive, aggressively tannic Armagnac. It's doing a little bit of that. That's an element in here. It's not, but it's not, you know, ruling the roost. The distillate is having its say in this, and it's like, hey, you know, I'm gonna be floral and fruity as well. And God, I am so down with that. Yeah, 87 out of 100. Really good. Let's move on. Back to the Lionel Osmin Baco 1995. Okay, so still very high note driven. The those IHOppy notes have kind of come out a little bit more. Aromatic, some like grapefruity notes now, some grapefruit pith. It's kind of like a French oaky fruit salad, honestly. It's nice. It is not profound. I still like the Tariquet more, but it's a very nice nose. It just smells very aromatic, high-toned. You know, again, it's the low notes and the high notes, and kind of not a whole lot going on in the middle. But I mean, that's okay, especially for the price they're asking and the age. On the palate, oh, there's a little bit of like a laundry sheet in there now. Yeah, there's a little bit of a laundry sheet note. Hold on. On the palate. Ooh. Okay. Let me try that one more time before I say anything. Remember how I was saying that a lot of the time Armagnac doesn't react well to water? Here's a little bit of a case in point. It's still nice. It's still, but it gets a little bit faded and clipped and awkward when you add water to it. The wood sort of comes out, but also this kind of violet-y floral note that is actually in conflict with the wood a little bit. Yeah, kind of awkward a little bit. Not the end of the world. I would still give this an 85, but I would give this an 85 minus, just because, you know, it's lacking a little pizzazz, and the way it's just kind of, you know, lacking a little bit of a middle, lacking those middle notes. And the way it kind of gets slightly awkward on the finish. Yeah, let's give this an 85 out of 100. 85 minus, sorry. And that's okay. And that's okay. For the price they're asking, for the age you're getting, this is still a hell of a bargain. So head out to Prestige Liquors and buy a bottle of this stuff. Maybe they'll bring in some more Armagnac. If you're actually able to clear the shelf with it. All right. Moving on to the Grosperrin 96, which didn't I already say I was giving this a 90? All right, so let's see if that actually loses it on with water. Nope, doesn't lose it. At least not in the nose. It gets more fruity, and also more oaky. Sulfur is still there. Yeah, you're just getting kind of an accentuation of this, kind of all the same notes that were there before. The coffee, the chocolate, a little bit of the sulfur is still there. It's not coming out as prominently. The tobacco, the black cherry, the dried fruit in general, little wax, a little more coffee, like still just bury me in espresso pucks, you know. This is I feel like, this is what old European men would just like, would love this. They just, but take down the third button and be like, this is the life, and just drink liters of this stuff. On the palate, oh, yeah, there's no arguing with this. Much better composed on the finish than the Osman, or even really the Tariquet. I mean, this is just a little bit of a level up from the others. Coffee, dried fruit, wood tannins, a little bit of that sulfury note. Oh, yeah, it doesn't really bring out a whole lot of new flavors. It just integrates everything that's already there into this like little wonderful little punchy package with a bow wrapped around it. This is really, I mean, if you're upset because you can't get, stinky old Mortlocks anymore, like, stock on this stuff, man. This is great. Yeah, it's a 90. Well picked. This is pretty much, except for the sulfur note, which in a way almost improves this for me because it gives it a little bit more personality. In a way, this is the kind of thing I often find I often have trouble like actually finishing a bottle of when it's sitting on my shelf because it's so almost textbook in the way it's approaching what it's got or presenting what it's got. But the little hint of sulfur in there, the little struck match, it's just adding this little dimension. It's like the Cindy Crawford mold, It's just adding this little extra dimension and a little bit of character that makes me really, really like this. Yeah, it's a 90. It's a 90. And that's all I got. Definitely worth a grab. And moving on to the Darroze. We're back to the Domaine de Paguy. On the nose, it actually quieted down a little bit. There might be a little bit more pepper. A little less, more pepper, more kind of an ashy note. The celery notes have actually gone back into the background. It's very austere. This does not smell friendly. Like I feel like Jansenists would be totally into this nose, but everyone else is just gonna be a little bit, want a little bit more friendliness, maybe. And I'm someone who likes austere things, and I'm having trouble with this. On the palate. Okay, I'm still kind of disappointed, but it's a little bit short on the finish. Like you can tell, the youth comes out, especially when you add some water. It really stays in the front of the mouth for the most part. This feels kind of really younger than it's 13 going on like 10 maybe. Nice, all the dried fruit, French oaky stuff. Maybe some nice kind of coffee grinds, gingerbread man kind of components. The little hints of grapiness. Some tea notes. That's kind of, there's not, there's not a whole lot of depth here. It's fine. There's really nothing wrong with it. It's just not worth the asking price. I would give this 84 points straight. Perfectly fine. But man, if you're paying retail for this, like you can, it feels like you can do better for me. And that's what I got with this lineup. So what's winning? Well, this guy is winning. This, again, should retail in Europe for around about 40 to 45 bucks. I think it's an 87 point Armagnac. I think it's terrific. It's a lighter style, it's a fresher style, but God, it's good. And sort of its polar opposite, you know, this is heavy metal. I mean, this is, you know, Electric Wizard in their heyday. You know, this is just heavy stuff. If you're a refugee from sherry Spacesiders, go buy this. These two are fine. The Osmond in particular is a nice little pick if you can grab it. Darroze I'm not that into, but these two, you know, man, this is where it's at. And I guess that concludes the Bas-Armagnac video. So 87, 85 minus, a 90, and 84. All pretty good. And that's what I got. Thanks for watching, and we'll do the Tariquet real soon. All right, bye.